slap fight with David Jaffe on X over the success of Dragon Age Veilguard, I thought I would try what is apparently the greatest character creator in the modern age, Dragon Age Veilguard. I'd also like to talk about David Jaffe pulling up the ladder behind him. If you remember God of War, inarguably, his most famous franchise, then you have to remember the things that made it unique, the things that made it stand out, the thing that I would say was the main marketing aspect of the game, which was its edginess. This was a hyper-violent, hyper-sexualized game that was touted as that. It was brought up as that. This is what you wanted. Gamers, come on. You want that mature rating. You don't want this M rating to be wishy-washy. You want the biggest and the baddest. That's what you want, right? Come on. You want it to be something like, the first thing that I do in one of the God of War games is have a quick time threesome that's semi-off screen, but there's a lot of moaning, there's a lot of groaning, and at the end of it, I get a whole bunch of red orbs. Yeah. Do you remember that? I remember that. You know what's interesting, though? You would think that the guy that made that game would kind of be more on people's side, that, you know what, if they say they don't want, stuff like pronouns in a fantasy medieval game, you know what, maybe that's not perfect evidence that the person is a bigoted lunatic. Maybe they just think this stuff doesn't really fit in the game. But no, you know what? Let me make a Medusa with naked nipply tits. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do that. That sounds great. Can you, what do you think about a game where instead of this stuff, like if someone made a mod that eliminated pronouns and we called it the Dragon Age Veilguard based edition? Do you think he'd be really cool about that? Or do you think he'd be really pissed? Do you think he'd be going in and saying, you know what? No good, we don't want this? I kinda have an impression that he would not like it. I think he'd probably be saying something along the lines of, you know what? This is looking a little bit bigoted. It's looking a little bit not good for anyone involved. So the fun part is when someone who is not in the industry starts pointing out these issues, if your first instinct is to say, God, you know what? I don't like it. This is really problematic. I don't really think you're actually engaging with the questions, the issues that these people are having. Are you? It doesn't seem like it. It seems like you're, well, you're attempting to farm likes and views and content, which I don't understand. You're apparently a well-known name in the industry. You should probably be able to trade on that. But my guess is the reason you're not in the industry anymore is because of the sort of identity politics stuff. The fact that you're wonderfully edgy content made you persona non grata. And that's why you got kicked out. That's why you're not making games anymore. You're streaming on YouTube. And that is something that is really... Yeah, I mean, that's something that's gotta hurt. The problem is that you've then gone and you've looked at this issue in the industry and you have attempted to placate the people that seem to hate your guts and wanted you out of the industry. This is not a good move. You know, we've got to imagine this is kind of probably something's going to backfire on you. And it sure seems like it did, right? And I can't believe how... Wow, I mean, look at this. This is impressive, right? I mean, I don't know if I like the fact that I can make a completely non-human looking person here. It does seem a little bit weird. Obviously, look, hey, man, this is great, but it's so cartoony. And, I mean, the thing about Dragon Age was always that it was a very grounded game. It was a very gritty, set in the real world type of game. And you felt the authenticity of it. You were like, yeah, this is exactly what medieval Europe with grisly magic and some horrific, blighted curse, black plague would be like. The characters looked human. They didn't look like cartoonish aberrations or abominations. They talked like real people that you would imagine existed in medieval, again, we're going to say Europe because obviously they're speaking English. This is a fantasy world that's, inherently owing its life to Tolkien. Even if we don't necessarily say, it's dead on. Now it's something else. I get it. But it is like, why are we attempting to make something appeal to universals that we all enjoy? We gotta do something else. Nah, we gotta get rid of this. Alright, I think purplish. Yeah. Oh, that's facial hair, never mind. Close. We don't have any facial hair. Should we put facial hair? I don't think we should have any facial hair. Purple. Yeah. Okay. Does this character remind you of anyone? Like, hey, hair color. Do we have magical hair colors in this universe? Okay, I don't think so. I think human beings have the same breadth of hair colors in the Dragon Age universe that they do in, just modern humanity. And guess what? That means that this purple hair is a dye. Dyes are notoriously expensive. Someone's going to spend thousands of gold to color their hair, and I mean, they don't have hair bleaching. I'm going to say they don't have hair bleaching, staining, inking type things in this context. So you're not going to be able to dye your hair like this. You're going to be basically, like taking huge amounts of some sort of natural pigmented dye, and you're going to be able to rub it in your hair, and then, the second it rains, it's going to start dripping out of your hair. So, I mean, this right here is a lifestyle choice that's only possible for the massively wealthy. Does that make sense in the context of Dragon Age? Medieval XYZ? No, it really doesn't. In the same way that the she, her, man, woman, non-binary XYZ really doesn't make much sense. I understand the problems people have with this, and I don't think that they are hand-waveable. They're not something that you can just disregard as the insane rantings of a bigoted non-gamer. No, this is the kind of stuff that appeals to and interests people that really are not putting their dollars down to buy this stuff. Like, I didn't buy this game. This is a demo. This is the free character creator demo that they released, and I'm only going through this for a video. I'm attempting to farm reactions and clickbait and XYZ and all that jazz. Yeah. Case in point, Vara Dark's in the thumbnail. I've not mentioned her one time. I've mentioned her name twice now. That's it. But I'm farming the reactions. Is that what you're trying to do with this? You're trying to farm reactions with, a character creator that lets you make a lady look like this? If so, it clearly didn't work. So BioWare, what are you gonna do? Ball's in your court now. Do you clean house? Do you get back to the things that made you a mainstay of the industry in the RPG sphere? Or do you double down on this? And guess what? When you double down, you're risking it all. You're betting the house. And you just took a loan out on the house, and you're probably not going to be able to pay it off, are you? Yeah. So who's going to buy your stuff up? I don't know. Start looking at offers. Start taking some bids. Because you might need a little bit extra ESG money before you start bankrolling your next failed endeavor. With that being said, thank you for your time. Good luck in all your endeavors. And I shall say farewell for now.